Okay, can you guys see my screen?
Yep.
Okay, I have an audio here. I'm just gonna show you how I animate a shot, and I'll demonstrate, and I'll share my process, how I get the acting out of it. Okay. So first, I'm gonna remove reference. I want to ask: is there anyone who didn't reference their character in the shot? If you never did that, you really have to start referencing characters. Okay. I'm gonna reference this waitress here. And her name is Waitress. The reason you reference is when you send me the file, it's so much lighter. You don't send me the whole rate, you know? You don't send me a file that is like 38 megabytes, you know what I'm saying? So it's a lot easier for both of us. So I'm gonna reference this character in the shot. Now, when you are given a shot, and when you do your own shot, maybe I should start from scratch. Okay, so I got the audio from moviewaves.com. Okay, I mean you can get your own sound from other website if you want. So this audio I'm using is Case of the Mondays. Okay, so when you set up your own scene file, it's a blank scene, right? So all you need to do is to download the audio in WAV format, right? And then just drag it on the timeline, and it should appear here. Okay, and then when you drag it slowly.
Sounds like somebody's got a case of the Mondays.
Okay, so this is the audio, and is, let's say it's 110 frames long. I'm gonna set my timeline to 110, and then I'm gonna reference my character, which I'm using Waitress. Now I'm sure like we have been working for quite a few weeks now. You guys know how to hook up texture and all that stuff, right? And you guys, I assume you guys know what is FK and IK, right? When you do when you walk, you use IK legs. You don't join rotate your legs. Okay? When you push off something, then you use IK. Like if I'm pushing off a wall, or if I'm leaning on a wall, if I'm opening a door, that would be IK hands, right? So in what case you would use FK legs? It's just a brainstorming.
If they're like underwater or in space or doing a handstand, maybe.
Do a flip, it will still be IK. If it's a flip, it's just a quick turn, you know? Yes, you're right. When you're doing flying, swimming, you use FK legs. Alright? That's good. Okay, so I reference a character, I have the audio. Next thing you want to do, and again, I'm not asking you guys to repeat what I'm doing, okay? I'm just trying to show you how I animate a shot. And it may benefit you, it may help you, it may inspire you to think a little bit more, okay? Alright, so I've got audio, I've got a character. Next I'm gonna set up a camera, okay? I'm just gonna place a sphere so you can look at it. Okay, so for example, she's talking to this sphere. Okay, and the sphere is over here. Okay, and we want to set up a shot. Let's tear off copy. And I'm gonna have a new camera. I'm gonna first name it render cam. Okay, and then in this panel, you can click these two buttons. It will show you what is gonna be rendered. Like this is gonna be the framing. Okay, 960 times 540. This button here. Can you guys do a screen grab? Did you guys do it?
Yep.
Okay, great. So you guys can ask that person who did it. Okay, this button here. So this is what you're gonna see after you render. Now for this shot, I'm gonna. Thank you. I'm gonna place it so it feels like she's looking into this direction. Okay. There. Now you see the background is kind of empty, so we don't know where's the wall or anything. So next thing I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna create a cube. I just want to see how's the dimension. It doesn't matter. It doesn't mean like you need to look at that corner or whatever, right? So the corner here, it's gonna tell you how much the camera is tilting. Like right now, the camera is from the bottom, right? Right here, it's more like from a normal person eye level, that kind of angle. Just gonna. How can I share this? Okay, so I was talking about this corner here represent how is the camera angle, right? I'm gonna place it somewhere around here, okay? Maybe later on the character will be like, just, man. Okay, so in the perspective view, I'm gonna isolate just the character so the box won't block me. Okay, so first of all, I'm gonna give her a pose. When I animate, I want to use. There are two methods that you want to animate, that you want to think about. So here. You want to start with a pose, right? It doesn't matter where his nose is. So for example, like they're starting from the same pose, line of action is the same, right? But this character, it has an approach using a down arc and up. Right? So if we follow where the nose is, and let's turn on the ghost so we can see everything. You see there's an arc like this. Correct? And I call this a down arc, okay? So if I'm saying something like, hey, excuse me, you know, when you animate, you don't want to just rotate the head like that, because that looks flat. You know what I mean? You want to do something like, hey, oh, hey, excuse me, you know, it's like more natural when you dip the head down a little bit. Now you don't just dip the head down, it will look like that if you dip the head down, right? It's the whole torso, right? Maybe a little bit weight shift. Do you get that part? Where's my camera? Sorry, man. Go back here. How can I? Okay, there you go. There. Oh, there. Okay, that's good. There. Sorry, I just gotta make sure I see most of the things. Okay, so there's a down arc. So now let's talk about the up arc. Can I make this on top of everything? I can't, right? Stay on top. No, it doesn't. Anyway, so the next one I want to talk about is an up arc. So there, it goes up and down like that. Okay, so you use, I mean, when you pick up a shot, usually, when I have a shot, I would go like, this the blank scene with the audio.
Uh-oh. Sounds like somebody's got a case of the mundu.
Okay, so I'm gonna go like, So first, maybe the character is gonna be doing something like this, a little bit lean backwards, right?
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh. Okay, so let's turn on the ghost. Maybe her arc will go like up a little bit. Okay, so
Uh-oh.
right, and then she stays low.
Sounds like
Sounds like, because we choose an up arc in here, right? So the next pose, what I would do is I would try to follow another arc, or else it looks like up arc and then back, you know? So if I go with an up arc at the beginning, the next part I'll choose a down arc. So you kind of see, uh-oh, you know, and then go low. You know what I'm saying? So at the beginning, I did this.
uh-oh.
Okay, so next pose change will be
Sounds
there, but I'm going to use a lower arc. So it's going to be something like that. Okay?
sounds like
You get what I'm saying? By demonstrating these quick poses, it's just like if you watch the head, then it kind of makes sense.
uh-oh. Sounds like
Okay, so when I act this out, it's gonna be, uh-oh, sounds like somebody, it could be just an accent, right? Somebody is having a case of the Mondays, because Mondays is where she put the most, exaggeration on the words,
somebody's got a case of the Mondays.
right? So Mondays, I will stick her head out. Now, when we work on these poses, or when we look at the audio, we try to pick one word that you can exaggerate her acting on. In this audio, obviously, it's on Monday. So when we do these acting, we can't choose to do exaggerating pose change on every word. Do you get what I'm saying? We can't do like somebody, right? We don't want to push it really hard on every word, or else every word is a climax and you don't know where that funny part is gonna hit. You guys get what I'm saying? Hello?
Yeah, it makes sense.
Does it make sense to you? Okay, so next I'm gonna animate this shot. I'm just gonna start with pose to pose. That is the most the junior way to animate. Okay, I'm just gonna do body for now. And all right, so let me think about it. Uh-oh, I'm just gonna listen to the audio a couple more times.
Uh-oh. Sounds like somebody's got a case of the Mondays. Uh-oh. Sounds like somebody's got a case of the Mondays. Uh-oh. Sounds like somebody's got a case of the Mondays.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh. Sounds like somebody's got a case of the Mondays.
So when
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Sounds like
when I'm thinking about this, the process is start with uh-oh, obviously, right? So do I want to go uh-oh, or do I want to go uh-oh? Like, do I want to go forward towards the character or backwards, right? And then we gotta kind of calculate. If I go forward, uh-oh, you know, when we do these kind of actings, we want to quickly do some weight shift, because at the end of the shot, I want to go with Mondays, right? And Mondays is kind of pushing out. So obviously before Monday, it has to be backwards, right? So we kind of do that calculation, and so we save time when doing pose change. So if I go, uh-oh, if I first go backwards, uh-oh, sounds like somebody got a case on the Mondays, right? In that case, I go like, sounds like somebody, I go forward already, and then I go forward again. So in the screen composition, I go like, you're seeing me, right? Like this is the center, right? This is the screen center, okay? Look, where's the Voltron is? It's the screen center, okay? So I'll go like, uh-oh, sounds like somebody got a case on the Mondays, right? And I really push forward into the screen space, and it's kind of like not working because this part here, it looks repeating. You get what I'm saying? So let's rework it. So if I go backwards, then it's like 2 times forward. So if I go forward, uh-oh, sounds like somebody got a case on the Mondays, then it kind of work out. Do you understand what I'm saying here?
Yeah, it flows a little better.
Yeah? Okay. So now, when I pose a character, I have to remember what my weight shift is, right? If you don't have a lot of experience, you should draw it out. Like what I'm doing here, right? So you don't need to draw really complex character. And I will just draw it on the main poses. So for example, like here, I want to go, uh-oh, sounds like, okay, so at the beginning, I lean back a little bit, right? So all you need to do is draw a head and draw a stick representing is leaning backward, something like that, okay? Stronger line of action, it doesn't matter. And then around here, before the word ends, you wanna have your key pose couple frames before the word ends. Okay? And then you want to draw a hold in here.
Sounds like
Okay?
sounds like somebody's got a case of the
I understand there's a long hold, but we can add some details later on. We just want to make sure the weight shift and the key poses are there. You know, just to start with, okay?
somebody's got a case of the Mondays.
Okay, so these kind of quick sketch is going to help you understanding where's the weight shift. So obviously, first pose here, you got a weight shift. I'm just going to use white arrow to draw the weight shift out. Weight shift here. Right? And then you can just kind of imagine where the arc is. I talk about if we use the down arc, we use an up arc later on. So we got to think clearly here. Sounds like, I won't go like sounds like because it's kind of over, you know? So I'll go, uh-oh. I'll go up arc here. And then down arc and up.
Sounds like somebody's got a case
Of the Mondays, you can go up or down. It doesn't really matter in this case because we have such a long hold, then it won't seem repeating. Alright? When we do key poses, I'm going to do it next step. We want to focus on the line of action. Right? We want to focus on frame 1, 14, you know. And we want to make sure it holds. Okay? So I'm going to do it right now. So at the beginning of the pose, she's gonna be from leaning backwards, okay? And when we say we want to lean her backwards, it doesn't mean she's gonna lean backwards like that. Okay, you don't push the character in your shot because she may look smaller. So maybe you can try leaning to her right. Okay, when she leans to her right, we all did walk cycles and we understand she has to have a proper weight shift, right? So I'm just going to pose her properly here. Let me save this. Now, I understand I don't see the legs here, but I just want to pose it anyway. Because if it's correct in 3D space, then there's no argue, you know? Because later on, maybe you did something wrong or something is not obvious. The director may ask you, to show them the perspective view, and then you'll be like, oh, I noticed my leg is screwed up, and then you gotta do your animation again, you know. So I just want to make sure she stands up properly. She can be leaning over a little bit. Waist shift can be a little bit more exaggerated. That's fine. You know, because we're gonna change it later on anyway. For this character, the green ring, right? The green ring here is for rotation. You don't want it to lean so much backwards. Oops. Where's the head? This is the bun. Where's the head control? Oh, that's the head control. Okay, I'm gonna do something like that. And then because when I pose a character, if you watch how I animate the parkour sequence, you know I want to pose the whole character, right? For the arms, I'm gonna check out if it's this following body. If we don't follow the body, yeah, that's better. Okay, so I'm gonna turn off follow body for the arms. Now I push the shoulder up because when I say uh-oh, then the shoulder drops, right? Uh-oh sounds like, you know, when the head goes up, usually the shoulder goes up, right? Unless you're doing some like punching, then you kind of stretch it out. But in this case, in the most usual case, when you do something like this, like sounds like somebody got a case of the Mondays, it gives a funnier pose, you know what I'm saying? So shoulder shrug is super important. So I'm just gonna push the shoulder up. You don't have to show the hand if the camera is cut off, it's fine. Okay, so I've got this pose here. She looks like off balance. So alright. If you want to, you can have her eyes follow the direction where she's looking at. Maybe somewhere around here. Okay, you don't have to animate the face yet. So now I've got the pose, I'm gonna set a key. Okay, so around frame 10, I'm gonna give her the pose that she, I'm gonna give her this pose. She's leaning forward. Now, when I pose it, I try to make her look like, you know what I mean when girls say uh-oh, that usually their body language is like uh-oh. You know what I mean? Like uh-oh, the head is like kind of sticking out. Uh-oh. You know, the shoulder, the torso is dropping down. And obviously we have to add a weight shift here. When you add a weight shift, the best way is to animate the hip too. You can have her go forward if you want. Maybe a little lower. Alright, now I want to rotate her torso forward. Drop her shoulder. You know, the neck is very expressive. You can't just like ignore her neck. Man, they should make the head ring a little bigger. It's hidden in her neck. Oh, I just found out in the head control, you can turn off follow body. I would just turn it off. There. At the beginning here, I would turn it off too. Okay, so now I'm using the keyboard method, right? The flip boat. Comparing from previous pose to the next pose. Okay, so I feel like this pose is looking good. Her head, when we look at this, you gotta compare the line of action, right? You see this head? The head is like tilting here, right? It's more tilted this way, and the body is leaning back. It seems like it's leaning back, but it's actually leaning to her right. You know what I'm saying? Okay, so next pose. We want to feel like she's leaning here and her head is tilted that way. You see the comparison between the two? Okay, obviously the shoulder here is kind of wrong because from what I'm seeing, this shoulder here is lower than the other shoulder, so we gotta rotate the chest that way. So let me just do it right now. Okay, maybe I should drop her arm too. Okay, so here. There we go, 2 poses. Okay, so I scrub on the timeline and I want to find out where I want to hold. Usually a pose change is around 6 to 10 frames. It doesn't matter right now because we will have to change the timing later on. When we do blocking, it's super easy to change the timing, right? Okay, so if I want to do a pose change at frame 30, I'm just going to set a key right now. Then I'm going to have the pose hold to 22, so it leaves us 8 frames to do the pose change. For the pose change, I'm going to have her lean backwards. Lean backwards or shift to her right again. And then I can make her straight up a little bit. You see, when I do pose change, I always start with the pose from before, so I know how the pose is going to develop. You know, usually we develop the pose from the previous pose. I'm just doing the eye too, so I know where she's looking at. You see? That's pretty good. Okay, let me end with the shoulder. We don't want to feel like the pose is repeating, so that's why that's why this pose here, it looked different than the other one, you know? The body language looks the same, she's also leaning back, but then the head tilt is kind of different. You know what I'm saying, right? If you can't really fit the arm in, then don't worry about fitting the arm in. You know, do what you can. You don't have to show the arm if you don't have to. Because sometimes it's kind of odd when you don't see the arm during the whole shot and all of a sudden you throw in an arm. So let me try it out anyway. Try to spend some time doing these gesture on the hand. It saves you so much time later on. And I would try to avoid using two hands to echo the shot, because we don't want anything like a W pose. Usually people fall into this trap, especially juniors. They have like W pose and there, and then W pose again, and then there. You know, like if you want to break the left and right symmetrical, you want to bring one arm up and then the other one is down. You know what I'm saying? So there, I have this. I'm gonna set a key.
Like somebody got a case of the...
Okay, so in here, I'll just leave it blank for now. I'm gonna put in some details later on, okay? Mondays, this is where we do that pose, the funny pose. How is it going so far? You guys are not lost yet, right? Am I making sense?
All good.
Okay. When you see when I act out the shot, makes sense. When I act out the shot, I don't afraid to show you guys how my thinking process is. Where I told students to record themselves and they feel like they're shy, they don't want to do it. I mean, you can do it and just, you know, do it on your own, because it helps a lot. Right? Remember, on the elbow, you rotate in one axis, okay? You don't do this, because I'm sure you guys have did this before. Oh, just drag it down. No, you don't do that. One axis. Because then you know your upper arm won't be messed up. Okay, so I've got a few quick poses down, and if you notice, I'm using the flip book method to watch my shot, but I don't use spline keys when I animate. Sorry, I don't use step keys when I animate. I always use spline keys because I know I have to actually set a hold. You know, if you use step keys, you guys know what step key is? Hello? Yeah. If you know, there are different ways to animate. I never suggest juniors to use step keys because you get confused a lot and you don't actually know where to hold. So while I'm using this, I actually hold a key. Okay, I'm just gonna hit play.
Uh-oh. Sounds like somebody's got a case of the Mondays. Uh-oh. Sounds like somebody's got a case of the Mondays.
Okay, so we have a very good start. We have a weight shift. We know where the character is leaning to. All we need to do right now is to put one in between and see how it goes. Okay, so for example here, I'm just gonna drag her head a little bit, and then animate her weight shift. I will start with her weight shift first. See, there's 9 frames. I want to make sure there's 8 frames. If you want your character to go in up arc, you should raise the COG a little bit, and then tilt the chest up a little bit, and then on the head, tilt it up, tilt it sideways a little bit. So there, you can tilt more. You see that motion? Uh-oh. Because the whole body is going up, you may want to exaggerate her shoulder a little bit more. Okay. Sounds like we're going on a down arc in here, right? So we want to lower the COG a little bit. See, I'm trying to use the flipbook method to see where's my nose arc is. Seems so far so good. I can drop the shoulder here a little bit more. On the Mondays. Now here, there's something different I want to do. I wanna do something like that. And I should have this right in the middle. See, I did something wrong. There's 8 keys. Because I'm setting a key pose here, maybe I should just offset the hand a little bit more too, so something like that. So in here I can add one more, maybe we don't see it. I can just do this for now, see if it benefits us in some way. Okay, so here we go. First pass was just pose to pose and one in between.
Uh-oh. Sounds like somebody's got a case of the Mondays. Uh-oh. Sounds like somebody's got a case of the Mondays.
Okay, so I'm gonna save this as version 1. I'm gonna play blast this shot. H.264, quality 1, scale to 1. Now, let me do something here. I'm going to select the camera. I'm going to change the overscan on the camera. If you go to display options, right now it's at 1.3. I'm going to change to 1. Okay, and I'm going to put the gate mask to black so it looks more like cinematic. See? Do you need to screen grab this part? Can you do a screen grab? Did you guys do it yet? Cool, man. Maybe circle the part I did. The gate mask, opacity, gate mask color, and overscan. Okay? Alright. I save this and I should play blast this. Okay, play blast. Timo.
Uh-oh. Sounds like somebody's got a case of the Mondays.
Alright, so let's move on to the next step.
Uh-oh. Sounds like somebody... Sounds like...
I want to add some beats here.
Somebody's got a case of Monders. Uh-oh. Sounds like somebody's got a case of the
Okay, so
Monders.
when I do that, I'm gonna try sticking with the pose I want. Not like you have to be robotic, okay? So at least the flow has to be there. So, sounds like somebody, sounds like somebody got a case on the Mondays. Sounds like somebody. Okay, so somebody, I would do something like, sounds like somebody, right? So that pose here sounds like somebody. I'll have a little bit up and down, okay? Dustin, what do you want? No, you can't. This is it's my job. What are you talking about? You get annoying? You get annoyed by the audio? So when I do post change, I will scroll on the timeline and figure out where should I set a key. Here. Are you getting tired, Dustin? There, that works.
Somebody's got a case.
Now, when we change this pose, we're gonna hold it until the next pose. Okay, so let's see how it looks.
Somebody's got a case of the Monders. Uh-oh. Sounds like somebody's got a case of the Monders.
Alright, it looks better now. Okay, so let's save this. I'm gonna put this as a version 2. We just add one beat there.
Uh-oh. Sounds like somebody's got a case of the Monders.
Alright. Next thing I want to do, I want to add overshoot. But let's work with the COG for now. I can do lip sync too. Let's work on the overshoot and then I'll do lip sync. I don't want to break away from the body animation. Okay, so when we look at our shot, when people saying, when I look at shot and it is really stiff, most of the time, because I should screen grab better. Most of the time is because the character is pinned over here. Okay, it's like pinned, and you don't move much. Like when we look at the line between these two lines, they're not moving in screen space. Like if you look at my camera here, this is my space, right? If I'm acting just like this, you know, it's kind of weird, right? So you want to have something like that kind of moving around, okay? So when we see that she's coming forward, and when we look at those two lines, it got stuck. So we want to make sure the overshoot is there, the cushioning. Now, how do we do that? We look at the characters, right? Our characters is coming from left to right. So you see her motion is going to the screen right. So when she stops here, we want to push it more a little bit. Okay, if her motion is coming from up to down, we push it down a little bit. Okay, so when we have to draw that out, it became the motion coming from up to down, right? If it's a hold, it's stopping here, right? We want to make sure it goes like a little bit lower and over. Do you guys get what I'm doing here? So here's how I'm doing it. Don't have it go back, have it push forward a little bit more. There. Okay, so when we look at this key here, we can push it over a little bit so it's not like a stiff hold. Do you understand this part? Okay, so right here, have it push forward, backward, and up a little bit. You don't want it to be too much, because if it's too much, it seems like it's floating. It has to be like right on. So you see this motion is kind of big, so the overshoot has to be bigger. See this messed up, so delete this, push it down, touch. Maybe this key has to be over here, so sink it a little bit. There. Do you guys understand the overshoot process?
Uh-oh. Sounds like somebody's got a case of the Mondays.
So it doesn't feel like it's stiff, you know? So next thing I'm gonna do, I'm gonna offset the chest. Do you guys understand what I'm doing? Can you guys respond?
Yeah, we got it.
Okay. Okay, so the easiest thing to do is to, because right now the COG and the torso, it arrives on the same frame. It hits at frame 9. So the easiest way to offset this is to select the upper body and slide it by 2 frames. Okay. And then you can overshoot a little bit. And then here I'm just going to exaggerate a little bit. Drag it. You see, when the COG goes backwards, you can drag the body forward a little bit. You see, it seems like she's being pulled from the COG, and that's the effects that we want. And then here, what did I do in the previous part? I offset it by 2 frames, right? So offset it by 2 frames. Overshoot it a little bit. Now this part here is tricky because it's so fast. So I'm just gonna cheat a little bit. I'm gonna push it down a touch. And then keep stretching it, but don't stretch it too much. You want to maintain the volume. You can add a little bit cartoony stretch, but not a lot. You can't do like that. Completely change your height. You know what I'm saying? Now, when I animate from side view right now, I look like I'm doing this most of the time, right? Now you want to break it so she's not like bowing to someone, right? My motion here, you want to do something like 360, like, you know, more 3D. You guys get what I'm saying, more 3D? Because sometimes if I'm looking that way, most of the students, when they animate, they rotate it and they start doing this, right? So from side view, it looks like it's just one motion. You understand? So we want to do something like we don't just go forward. We go like a little bit sideways, maybe a little bit towards and left, maybe a little bit towards and right. So in this case here,
Got a case of the moon.
I can add a little twist.
Uh-oh. Sounds like somebody's got a case of the moon.
I'll show you the twist at the beginning part first, okay? I'm just gonna use the torso, the highest control.
Uh-oh.
Do you see the twist I'm adding in?
Sounds like somebody's got a case of the
So obviously this is just what I've got right now, so I'm gonna tune it better. Something like that. But you know, it's all in my head, so I you know what I mean? I haven't really planned this out. Okay, so I've got the head.
Uh-oh.
I've got the torso, now I'm gonna work on the head. Okay, I'm just gonna work on the head mainly. Let me save this. S03. I only spent what? Half an hour. Okay, so when we work on the head, we don't want to just do the motion. We want to add an offset. For example, something like uh-oh, right? So a little bit countering and over. So we, you know, it's like we want to draw a circle from the nose. Imagine your nose has a pen, right? So it's always drawing circles when you do that stuff, okay? So how do we see it here? Do you understand what I'm trying to do?
Yeah.
Thank you. See, right now it stops a little hard, so we want to add some bounce, like there. It's an overshoot. See, this is too much, so we set a key here, delete this one. So
got a case the Mondays.
does it make sense to you? Okay, so let's look at this. This very, very, very rough.
Uh-oh. Sounds like somebody's got a case of the Mondays.
Mondays can be
Uh-oh.
slower.
Sounds like somebody's got a case of the Mondays. Uh-oh. Sounds like somebody's got a case of the Mondays.
Okay, so you can mute, well, you can't mute the audio. I can mute it for you. When I look at this, I've shown you guys how I cover up part of the screen to pay attention at the other parts. So for now, I want to look at, because I don't know if it's the head or if it's the body that is too fast. So when I hit play, I'm just gonna focus on the torso, okay? So I'm just gonna cover it up. And then look at the head. Okay, it's the head.
He's got a case of the Mondays.
Yeah.
Uh-oh. Sounds like somebody's got a case of the Mondays.
Okay. So this is pretty good. It's okay, right? I think it's better.
Yeah,
than,
yeah.
I think it's better than Tots. You know, whatever preschool show you're looking at. Now, the other thing I want to talk about is there's more advanced stuff. Okay. If you look at how I'm talking, I have beats on my head, right? Like sometimes I'm just it's in everyone's when they talk. What do you call that word? Subconscious. Is that right? Like you do this kind of motion when you talk. Okay, so we try to add that small moment whenever you see there's a hole. For example, like right here. Right, this part here is like blank. So I'm just gonna. Sounds like somebody got a case. Sounds like somebody got a case on the Mondays. You know, maybe you can add a little bit head nod in here. See, my head is over here, right? But when you move the head, you want to move the chest too. So don't be afraid when you have to do something, you know, like it's very small adjustment, just like that. Nothing too big. And then of course after you move it, you gotta add some overshoot. One time I animated this line in Dead Rising 2. It's the Chef Anton intro. It's about eating humans. Tastes like chicken. He laughs like crazy, and that shot is around 5,000 frames long. I animated it for like 3 weeks. I'm listening to the audio every day over and over and over and over for 3 weeks. You know, it's part of the job. I'm just saying.
Uh-oh. Sounds like somebody's got a case
No,
of the
it doesn't-
Mondays.
No, but sometimes the audio gets into your head. Like when you listen to Crazy Cycle, especially when it's a game, you kind of get tired of it.
Uh-oh.
Okay, so I'm gonna work on the shoulder next. I think so. I don't remember it now, but back in those days, yeah, probably. Okay, so I'm just gonna do something extra in here. Here. Just some bounce on the shoulder. Right here, it's like exhaling, so I'm just gonna drop her a little bit, see if I can get that effect. Okay, drop the chest, drop the shoulder. You don't want to break it, so yeah, there you go. And the head. Alright, I'm gonna hit save.
Uh-oh. Sounds like somebody's got a case of the Mondays.
Okay, cool. This is pretty good. Next I want to animate lip sync. Let me save this. Let me see if I can finish this in an hour. Where is her lip sync? Joins layer, control layer. No. No. Where's her jaw? Oh my god. Okay, so her head is kind of complicated. I'm gonna isolate out the polygon. So I'm just seeing they should never rig a character like that. Like when we can't even select the controls. Okay, I'm gonna show you the way I animate lip sync, and this is not the way you should do it. I mean, in every studio they have their studio library. Do you guys know what a studio library? You do, right? Usually we save there's especially when when a studio has a little bit of a history, they will have their character having the same namespace on the jaw and lip controls. So when they hit O, it applies on every character. That's why referencing a character is super important, right? Anyway, so because this is the first time I'm using this character and I haven't got a face shape library, so I'm just gonna animate straight on her lip sync, on her lip control. So I'm gonna isolate out her lips. I don't want to remove the head animation by mistake, so I'm just gonna select these controls, which is the lips and the jaw. Then hit isolate there. Okay, I'm just gonna work with these ones. When I animate lip sync, I want to shrink the timeline so the scale is easier. Okay, at the beginning, you can't have her close her lips like that, right? If you're into animation, I suggest you to get a little mirror in front of you for especially for junior students. So you can always look into your mirror and exaggerate when you say your word. When I say uh-oh, right? I don't close the lips when I say uh-oh, right? I would probably have it open a little bit. Some cartoons studios, they hate when they see characters start with open lips. In this case, it's kind of exception, you know? So I'll go like, uh-oh, okay? I'm just gonna animate the jaw to start. When I look at my own shape, uh-oh, I probably won't show so much teeth. So I'm gonna push the lip up. That's too much. Let's see. There. Okay, there. Uh-oh. Some characters, they're really hard to animate. I'm not sure about this one. This is the first time I'm using this. You know what I should do? There, and then select a geometry too. Why is she like that? Is there a scale problem? Did she scale up? No. She can't, her lips can't go in like that. So let's see if we can push it out. There. I think that looks better. Okay, cool. Now here, uh-oh, we can give her a little attitude. And after you do that, make sure you fix her lips up a little bit. Sounds like, now there are a couple lip sync, there are a couple shapes you want to put in. M, B, P, S, okay, F, V. Yeah, that's about it. For, you know, these are the initial shapes. So what it means is we want to animate these words when it's happening. For example, like sounds like, then we want to close the jaw and show the teeth to make it an E shape, you know. It doesn't, people won't save it as an S shape. They would just say E. So for now, I'm gonna, because I animated so much and I don't want to cause confusion, I'm gonna zero it all out. And then I'm gonna open the lip. Just open it tiny bit. You don't want it to be, see, when we look at the wireframe here, it is showing a lot of lower teeth, so we want to make sure it's not doing that. So, oh, her jaw is there. Oops. And then sounds like we want to make her lip a little wider. There. Okay. I'm just gonna copy this and see if there's any next S or V sound, next S sound that we can put it in. Right here. Okay, I'm just gonna paste it. And then here. And then here. 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 Okay, cool. And then here's the O. So what I'm gonna do here, I'm just gonna open up Studio Library. Are you guys with me? Not lost yet? I guess it kind of makes sense when I hope it makes sense when I'm animating this, because sometimes you got lost. You know what I'm saying? Okay, so here's how I'm saving this. New pose. Make sure you set a key on all the controls on the mouth, or else it won't save certain control. Okay. New pose. No, not each letter. Just like M, B, P, S, E. S is same as E. You'll see later on. So this is more like O. You know the most common shape. O. And then I've got ooh. This S, you know, you can call it a bigger S. Doesn't matter. E or wider E. Or just E. And then I also want to save somebody. I want to save a default. And then I also want to save, because this default is actually not a default. Remember? Hang on. Remember when we open it slightly, the lower jaw is actually inside the upper jaw? This is what happened, right? So when it says somebody, we want to make sure her lip is kind of closing, something like that. Okay, maybe you can open up more and then pull the lip down and then pull the lower lip up. Make sure they're touching each other just like that. There. That's a good M shape. Now there's different M's. Oh, let me close it perfectly. Now when we do M shapes or B shapes or P shapes, there's like M, which is just closing, right? Or there's like, right? So it depends like how detailed you want to save it. Sometimes I'll just use these shapes and I'll roll the lips in. It's faster for me. If you think saving different M shape is faster, then go ahead. But when you have a lot of M shapes, why does it matter, you know? You get what I mean? So like for F, usually people say like F, they have like, you know, the lower lip like will be like doing that and showing the upper teeth, that kind of F. So these are the shapes people usually save. So here we go. I'm gonna do this. So sounds like this is gonna be a narrow E because sounds the lip corner kind of go in. This is not an ideal lip control that we're seeing because it's not around the lip. It's kind of off. There. So at the middle part here, all I have to do is to open it. Sounds like. Hold this S. Okay, right here we want to M, apply, and then hit S, set key. You want to animate? You know when we hear the E shape around 47. We want to hit it a little earlier. Case of the Monday. So right here we want to animate the F shape. You can't see her teeth, it's so white. There, that's pretty good. Here, Mondays. We know we use the M shape. But then we want to add some cartoon moments. So we want to push the whole lip up a little bit. Get a little sideways here. There. Mondays. Where's my lip controls? Oh my god. I thought I saved it. Where did it go? Did you guys see it? What's going on? Uh-oh. It's all gone. Oh. There. Okay. So let's use the E shape. And then let me narrow it a little bit. Okay, save. Alright. Let's look at this.
Uh-oh. Sounds like somebody's got a case of the Mondays. Uh-oh. Sounds like somebody's got a case of the Mondays.
I think it looks pretty good. So let me just finish her eyes and let's call it done. You know, if you show this kind of animation skills, you don't worry about getting a job anywhere. But again, someone have a bigger goal. I mean, my job is to help you understand how to animate. I'm just gonna animate her eyebrows for now. When the body posing comes down, you want to animate her eyebrows so she's like squashing a little bit. So here. It doesn't mean she has to be angry, so push the whole eyebrows down and do something like that. Okay, we're focusing on the eyebrows right now. Alright. See right here, you can push it up. Here you can push it down. Make it a little angry if you want. See right here, it's a good place to offset her brows a little bit. I'm just gonna try something different. Oops.
Uh-oh. Sounds like somebody's got a case of the Mondays.
Okay, I'm trying to add some cushioning on the eyebrows here.
Sounds like somebody's got a case of the Mondays.
It's a little bit jumpy at the end, so let me fix it. There. Okay, cool. Next is want to animate her lid a little bit. Why is her control not following? I don't get it. Her face is just defaultly way off. Okay, so that's the eyebrows. Sorry, that's the eyelid. Okay, for when we animate blinks, usually it is 4 frames from open to close, and then from close to open is another 4 frames. So one full blink is gonna be 8 frames. You can do 6 frames if you want, 6 to 8. At the beginning here, I would probably close it a little bit. And open the bigger here. Okay, so here, 4 frames to close. You don't have to pull the whole upper lip down. You can also pull the lower lip up if you want. Here, I want to have a little bit squinting. Come on, man. Oops. Let me see if I can copy the blink from here. Blink.
Uh-oh. Sounds like somebody's got a case of the
Oh,
Mondays.
there's one spot.
Uh-oh. Somebody's got a case. Uh-oh. Sounds like somebody's got a case of the Mondays.
I think it's okay so far. Let me just finish her eyeball and we call it done. Where's the eyeball? Over here. Okay. The way I animate eyeballs, I always use the flip boat method to make sure her eye is not like going off. Because if you hit play and drag, you got carried away, okay? So I want to make sure she's looking around here, okay? So put your mouse around this area. Now she's looking. Now she's a little bit too high there. Okay. We want to hit all the main keys first. Put it here. That seems okay. That seems okay. That's a little bit off. That's off. You know what I'm doing here? Some students, they think like, oh, I can constrain it to an object. No, you don't do that, because you know sometimes when the actors they act on the shot. For example, like right now I'm looking at my left. It doesn't mean like my eyeball is looking at my left. Sometimes I have to look a little bit over here, so it seems like I'm looking right, but I'm not actually looking at the other person. You get what I mean? So in this kind of case, you can't constrain it on an object and you let the head goes around. You have to animate the eyeballs, okay? There, it's off a little bit. And then we take a look here. I want to add a row. Right here, I want to add some eye dots. Eye dot means it's a very short distance, left to right. You don't have to be like, oh, I want to show more obvious eye dot. It's just giving some life to the eyeball. Oh, there.
Uh-oh. Sounds like somebody's got a case of the Mondays. Uh-oh. Sounds like somebody's got a case of the... Somebody's got...
I think that looks better, right? If she looks off a little bit, it seems she's thinking a little bit.
Uh-oh. Sounds like somebody's got a case of the Mondays.
What do you think? I guess this done. I'm just gonna save
looks
it.
really good.
Huh?
It looks really good.
Yeah? In what? An hour? Yeah? You know, the cheapest animation freelance that I've got, they pay $1 a frame. So if I animate like this for an hour, I make $100, but you know. $1 a frame is way too low, to be honest with you. Let me hit play. This is version 5, and I'm gonna upload all 3 versions to the same sketch. I haven't animated any arms or anything. We'll, you know, I'll do that next pass.
Uh-oh. Sounds like somebody's got a case of the Mondays.
You feel that exhaling, right?
Uh-oh. Sounds like somebody's got a case of the Mondays.
It's still like, you know, for preschool show, it's fine.
Sounds like
Just gonna add some overshoot on the elbow. Oh, this is so nice. You see the flow. Oh, this is so good.
Uh-oh. Sounds like somebody's got a case of the Mondays. Uh-oh. Sounds like somebody's got a case of the Mondays.
Cool, man.
Uh-oh. Sounds like somebody's got a case of the Mondays.
Oh, my elbows are cracking. Oh, stretch. Oh. What should I call this? Acting intro. Alright, I'm gonna pause recording